Hey guys, how's it going? So I have just finished filming my tutorial for this look. Given, oh, pardon me, given that we are now pretty much coming into autumn, I don't care what anyone says, the weather is too up and down, it's bloody autumn, and driving home today, the trees are actually turning colour, so it's autumn, it's definitely autumn. So I have done this sort of purple and gold inspired smoky eye look, so this would be a look I would go for if I'm going out. Sometimes I like to be a bit more extra during the day, but so it's just very ew. I've got foundation all over me, but it's very classic smoky eye, easy to do, quick to do, and it always looks good. And I've gone for like purpley tones and a darker lip because who the hell does not love a darker lip? But anyway, so I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or comments or have any other looks that you want me to do, just let me know. See you later! So the eyeshadow palette that I'm using is Morph 25B, I want to say. And we're sticking to the lower section of the palette today because it is coming to that time of year. I'm going to just show you the colours we're going to be using. So this section here, all the nice sort of autumnal plums, which is nice at this time of year. I know it is August, but we're going to just start by using this sort of chocolatey brown, and I'm going to apply this to just above my crease area using the sort of flatter side of the brush that came with the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and we're just blending it slowly. You don't want to rush with this because when you rush, mistakes happen and no one wants that. So as you see, I'm making tiny strokes. Tinier the better. It means you've got more control and less drop. Drop basically is when the pigment of the eyeshadow falls below, and when you go to wipe it, it just makes a big ass mess, which nobody actually wants. So as you can see, I'm focusing on bringing it right down into the inner corner of my eye. A lot of people wouldn't, but this means it makes your eyes a whole lot bigger. I'm also using this base colour just to brush lightly under my lower lash line. This is going to be setting the sort of mark where I want to be focusing my waterline smudge line, if that makes sense. I'm just dusting it under there, making it nice and smoky. I think with this it's better because it's not a solid black line, and this brush is absolutely amazing. But after that we are going into our next colour, which is this slightly reddier, darker brown. Now it does look more sort of matte brown, but in real life it's a bit of a chestnutty sparkle to it. Because of the lighting in my room you can't really tell, but I'm just really, the way I'm doing this look, I am basically just piling it on, to be polite. It's just layering it up. It's like making a soup or a stew. You can add to, but you can't take away. So you don't want to go too overboard. As you see, I am just placing this over the first colour, and because it is darker, it is defining my eyes a little bit more, and it's making them more three-dimensional and giving them more shape without going overboard. It is a lovely colour. I love this sort of colour scheme, particularly at this time of year. But yeah, there's a little dance for y'all. Just need to have a sip of coffee because a girl needs her coffee. Can we just acknowledge my baldy patch on the side of my head? I don't know what's going on there. I really don't like it. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my hair, but we're going to go into the third colour, and this is this lovely sort of deep purple plummy shade. Again, it's a matte, but there is a slight glimmer to it. So again, as with the previous two colours, a lot of people would go below, but I am sort of continuing and just putting it on top, layering, because layering also means it's easier to blend. So yeah, I'm just making sure to blow off any excess. As I say, you don't want any drop, particularly purple drop, which would not be a nice highlighter at all. I have had a few occasions where I've had drop and I've had to start all over again, so it's not good. But you just want to keep the brush moving because it does make the pigment remain warm. I know it sounds unusual, but if I was to stop here, it would be harder to blend. But anyway, I digress. I'm just bringing this darker colour again on top of the one below my lower lash line, and we're really smoking it out. So with this one, as you can see, I am bringing it out a little bit more at the corners just to add a little bit of drama. But yeah, so we're going to go into our feature colour, will I say. So I'm going to use this sort of sparkly bronze, and this is going to be used to pack out my lid. As you see, I'm just sort of pressing that into my actual eyelid, almost pressing but going in a circular motion at the same time, because your eyelid is the area of the eye that draws most attention. I think it's best to use something a little bit more shimmery here. It just makes it sort of stand out a lot more than the rest. So I'm just packing it on, and again, I'm not even worrying about not having enough. As I said, you can build it up as you go along. And again, I'm just putting a little bit in my eye as well as underneath, as you can see. But yep, so just giving it a little blink, get that out of there. But yeah, so you can see it's starting to take shape. And then what I do is I flip the brush around, and you see I'm blending it outwards in a circular motion. A lot of people would blend sort of up. Yeah, I do have a little bit of up blend there, but it's mostly out. And a circular motion means it's a lot smoother to do. And then you want to kind of arch it round the rest of your eye so it's all one blend, instead of, you know, you're blending the top and then blending the bottom. So you just want to keep it blending until you don't see that line, but you can actually see how beautiful these colours are together. They actually really, really work. Particularly like myself, when you've got blue-green eyes, they actually really make them pop and stand out. So yeah, I will be honest, this was an absolute winger of a video. I thought to myself, I want to give a good go at YouTube. I want to make sure I'm uploading frequently. So let's do a tutorial. And this literally came into my head when I was setting up. So hopefully it goes well. Well, I know it goes well, but you know. So at this stage, I'm just brushing away some little bits of drop that I had. I luckily didn't have many. And then I'm applying the Be Perfect primer. And this is actually my mum's that I pinched, so don't tell her. But I'm only using a little bit. And we're just lightly rubbing this into our face. I say lightly, I look like I'm going like insane there. But lightly, the feeling of this primer, it is different. It almost feels like a latexy type, like a liquid latex going on, because you can feel it coat your skin. But I mean, if this was for an actual night out, you know, I would be feeling hella confident that my makeup would be staying on. Like, I know a lot of people use creamier primers, but I do like a gel primer. It lets your skin breathe as well. What am I doing here? Oh yeah, so for my base, I do believe, look at me looking like I don't know where it is. Liv, it's clearly in front of you, you silly Egypt. Oh no, we're going in for a coffee and a dance, as you do when you're waiting for your primer to dry. Primer dance, primer dance. But yeah, so for my base, oh no, it's not a base, I'm going into my eyeliner now. And I'm using my old trusty Rimmel liquid liner. This is always awkward to do. Normally, if this was one of my usual tutorials where I'm chatting away and having a laugh, at this stage I would be making you sit silent while I did this. It's impossible to talk. But again, this is all about, you know, taking your time, and if you need to add anything, you can. But my biggest tip for this would be to make sure that you are aware of the shape that you want to do before you start. Here you can see I'm just doing sort of a minor wing, but if you go in Ramstam and just wing it, if I can use the term wing it when we're talking about wings, you'll end up with two different shapes. So you don't want to do one stroke across the lid, you want to do small strokes along the lash line. As you can see, I'm going over, and I have my hand quite close to the end of the brush, which means I'm controlling it a lot more and it's keeping it a lot more even. And in terms of adding the actual wing, as you can see, it's giving me a lot more control. There have been times when I have tried to add a wing and it has gone drastically wrong, and I've gone, God damn it, let's just wipe it all off and start again. But you want to follow the natural shape of your eye anyway. But yeah, after that dramatic look, I think it's time to start on our base. So I'm using the Jane Airedale, it's like a BB cream. Just this tiny amount really works, and it actually really clears up your skin too. So I'm using my beauty blender and I'm just sort of patting it in to my face. Obviously, where else would I pat it into? As you can see, it's very clearing and a very smooth base, as she stretches her beak all over the place. And I'm bringing it right up underneath my eye, but I don't want to go too close in case there is a tiny bit of drop, because then I might end up with a purple highlighter, which we don't want. Now I've used this for a while, primarily since my mum's wedding, or hen do even, sorry, but I would get breakouts on my chin every so often, and using this on my evening routine, it has actually cleared it up a fair bit. As you can see, it's given it really nice coverage. This is particularly good, for example, in the summertime. I know I mentioned in another video that it's not summer anymore, but this is nice and light. It's more of a BB cream, like I said, so if you are looking for something more full coverage, I wouldn't really recommend this. The reason being it's quite light and it's very moisturising, and it actually gives a nice glow, which I really like. But it's not going to be, you know, your flawless finish, but it does. I really like it a lot more than usual foundations. So we're still working on the base. That smile says a lot of things, I don't really know what. But again, Jane Airedale pressed powder. Oh, and we can see ourselves in there. It was a bit creepy. So pressed powder, and we're just using a fluffy brush. Just blow that off. Blow it off the brush. I am so slimy, honestly. And we're just going to back and forward strokes across my forehead and down my T-zone and over my face. Now this works with the base that I just put on, and it kind of mattifies it without drying your skin out too much. You don't need a lot. I had a few testers of this and I still have them, and that's going back pretty much a year ago, but I actually purchased this after a day out with my mum. As you can see, it's actually really mattifying my skin and making it a lot clearer even than it was a couple of minutes ago, and it's a lovely shade as well. So you just want to blend it under the jawline and, you know, stretch your face in silly shapes like I am, so it gets into all the creases. Make sure you've no lines or tide marks, whatever you want to call them, and blend it into your hairline as well, just to keep that colour going. And we're slaying, guys, we're slaying. But yeah, I'm clearly a little confused. Oh, it's contour time. I don't normally do a lot of contour, but as this is a going out look mostly, I'm using my W7 Cheeky Trio, starting with the bronzer and my flat brush. And I'm just going in, and as you can see, I'm sucking in where I want to make the contour, and we're just going to colour that in. It's not a heavy contour. I'm not one for a cream contour because, let's be honest, I can't really work them. I prefer a powder because I'm used to working with powders, but I've carved out my cheek. I'm just going up around my temple area, and this is actually going to make my face look not chubby and not like a 17-year-old's. And we're just going over the hairline as well. Of course, it's going to be adding colour as well, giving it a bit of a glow since it is a bronzer rather than an actual contour. But yeah, so we're just blending it down, making my face look a lot more chiseled. But usually on a day-to-day basis, I don't even bother with contour. I usually just stick a bit of bronzer or blusher on, and I saunter out that door thinking I'm Queen Bee. And then with the contour, I am carving out my nose. I don't know why I did this. I normally don't, but again, I suppose if it's a going out thing, it's maybe just a bit more effort. I don't know, maybe. Yep, I'm just bringing it down the bridge towards my nostrils. I don't really like my nose because it's quite broad, so I like to make it a bit narrower. Then I'm going in with my blusher brush, obviously into my blusher. And just to get the best shape, I always just sort of smile and apply it to the apples of my cheeks and around my temples. So you can see it is brightening up my face and putting a bit more shape into it, not just these sort of muddy brown marks, but it does brighten it up. And again, with summer, well, apparently it's summer, it makes it look like the sun has just kissed my face. But yeah, so looking good so far, I think. I don't know what I'm going to do next. So this is my little magic potion from Jane Airedale. This is not a sponsored video, I swear to God, but this is actually an eyelash elixir. So you apply this before your mascara, and basically what it does, it thickens the fibres and promotes growth. So yeah, I apply it to the top and underside of my top and bottom lashes, and then once that's all dried in, I then obviously put on a mascara. And guys, you should see the length of my lashes afterwards, like they do with like Daisy the freaking cow. I do actually have long eyelashes without anything on them, but we all do like a bit of emphasis applied. So I'm gonna let that dry in, because you can't apply it wet or it will sort of tangle and look a bit clumpy. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I hate a clumpy mascara. So I don't know what that wee smell was all about. It's almost as though I'm listening to my commentating, narration, whatever you want to call it. More coffee, clearly. Today has been a long, tiring day. But swallow that down, girl. But yep, so we're going to just move on. We're going into my eyebrows. So if you can see my left eyebrow, there's a chunk out of it. Yep, I actually had a shaving accident. That's all I'm saying. Well, a shaping accident. But this little treasure I'm using is from Be Perfect Cosmetics. It's a semi-permanent eyebrow kit. It's just a powder and a stencil. I use the natural one. And you just use a flat-headed brush, and you basically want to put it on like that. That's all I can say. Just put it on like that. You can go back and forward for a more natural look. You can brush it one way if you want a sleeker look, or you can do what I'm doing and not really have a clue, to be honest. But as you can see, it has filled it out, and it does give it a nice colour, to be honest. Like, it looks as though I've just had them tinted and shaped. My eyebrows, to be honest, are a hot mess right now, so I do need to take a trip to Jay's Brow Bar in Castleport and get these bad boys fixed on payday. But what I would say would be to definitely 159% invest in one of these kits, because in between appointments, as you can tell, like I am, it actually does really, really work. So, and if you hear any noise, it's my kitchen door rattling. I don't know why, because there's no windows open, so I think it's a ghost, but there you are. So that's my eyebrows done. I also honestly think that having a good set of brows is the key to looking well on a night out. What am I looking for? Oh, the said mascara. So I'm using the Thick and Fast from Soap and Glory. Came in like a gift set that I got at Christmas time from my mummy-in-law. And this honestly has to be one of my favourite mascaras I've ever used. It's so, what's the word, versatile? I don't know if that's what I'm looking for, but it doesn't completely solidify your lashes. That's the one. It keeps them nice and flexible and natural, but when you turn, look at that curl. Like, that's a mix of the Jane Airedale elixir and this mascara. So as I said, I do have long eyelashes naturally, but this just emphasises them, which is fabulous. But I also know my Jason has fabulously long eyelashes, and he doesn't use anything, so maybe I'll do a video on his secrets on how to grow fabulous long lashes. He's quite camera shy though, so probably not, but it's worth a try, I guess. So once I have done my mascara, that's us so far. Look at that wee smile. Oh, I don't know what that face was. It's time to go into some bronzer. So the bronzer I'm going into is my little Summer of Love by Makeup Revolution, which is nearly done. But look at that, like, it's honestly so cheap in Superdrug. Maybe we're talking £6. And we just apply it to the apples of our cheeks and bring it around our temple. But look at the glow, gal. It is such a good highlighter. And just bring it down your nose a little bit and over your top lip. Look at that. Like, I know people who pay way more, but I also take my pinky and I just put a little bit of the rose gold on and bring it underneath my brow bone my brow bone. I wouldn't do this normally. This is just for sort of nights out to give it a little more boom. But yeah, so under the brow bone and then into my cupid's bow and on the end of my nose. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? So she certainly thinks so. But yeah, so we're almost there, guys. The last thing is probably going to be some lipstick. I'm using this Merlot matte shade, Midnight Merlot, I do believe, from Rimmel. But 1 second, I have a secret weapon, particularly for winter months. This is the Melty Talented Moisturiser from Soap and Glory. I just put a little slick on my lips because in the winter autumn months I suffer from really bad dry chapped lips. Just put a little bit of that on, and once we do that, then I do believe it's time to apply the lipstick. Hurrah! So yeah, this is a gorgeous sort of deep plum Merlot-y colour, funnily enough. So I just use the tip of it to go around the outside of my lips just to give them a nice shape. Normally I would have a liner on, but I couldn't find my liner. It's one of those days. And you just want to sort of colour them in. Lips like that. You don't want to go too mad because you'll end up looking like, I don't know, someone off RuPaul anyway, but you just want to sort of line it within your lip and make it really, really nice. But as you can see, this is like a lovely plum colour. But that, my ladies, is our look done. This looks beaut, and we're ready to go for a night out. Bye now.